Yesterday's government meeting to put in place some form of plan to avoid blackouts this winter points to energy conservation and a potential package of financial supports for Irish households. Jack, to what extent is the government deciding that the energy bills, when they begin to land on people's doorsteps, that what we will see is a significant change in consumer behaviour and that'll make a big contribution to the energy conservation through winter?
I think that's the expectation, but I also think and I suspect that people are, to some extent, probably to a large extent, ahead of the government in this regard. I mean, anyone who has got a utility bill really from this spring onwards can't be unaware of the extent to which electricity prices, utility bill prices have been sent through the roof by the invasion of Ukraine by Russia and the impact that's having on at a household level. So really, what we're seeing facing into the winter is the government trying to double down on that message, trying to soften us up to an extent for what is coming, which is even higher prices. And what they discussed last night was really a program of very visible interventions, starting with the public sector, focused in on the use of energy in public sector buildings, civil service offices, government departments, right all the way up to government buildings, perhaps even the obelisk on the back lawn of Leinster House not being lit up. And the most eye-catching of all the interventions that they discussed, which would be contained in a memo that goes to Cabinet today, is the idea of limiting the heating temperature in public offices to 19 degrees and also encouraging more optimal use, I suppose, of those buildings. So, gathering people together on one floor, only heating water or the air between certain times, and overall trying to lead the way and act as a kind of signifier to the rest of society at large as part of this wider campaign to get people to reduce use, particularly between peak hours of 5 and 7. The question, I suppose, is, the political acceptability, the political palatability of this, because as I said at the top, people already know this, and I think that they'll be looking for government to move with intent and purpose to obviously hammer home these behavioural messages, but then to go further come budget time.
And they will be looking for government to put its hands in what seems to be a fairly full pocket and give them assistance.
Yeah, that's true. So last week we got the Exchequer returns for the year to the end of July, and as has been the case, something that we've all gotten used to, the Exchequer is being buoyed by the afterburners of corporate tax, and we're looking at a budget surplus this year of something in the region of 6.7 billion euros. So that obviously gives them increased latitude. It gives them more room for manoeuvre when it comes to spending on one-off measures. Everyone is probably sick to the back teeth of hearing about what's coming down the line, but it does look like it's getting more significant all the time. It wasn't more than 3 or 4 weeks ago that we were writing about this potential booster packet of one-off measures to supplement the budget being in the region of 1 billion. That then began to grow up to 1.5 billion, and as we report in the Irish Times this morning, it's now looking like it may come in at 2 billion or even a little bit more. And underpinning all of that, I think, is a recognition at government level that, the energy crisis and the cost of living and the size of utility bills that are going to be landing on doormats up and down the country from really this month onwards is the kind of prime political and policy challenge that they're going to face in the next 6 or 8 months. And it's one of those things that is moving from, the usual kind of level of political crisis, if you want to term it like that, into something that is more like a kind of mass mobilization of society towards a single policy goal, not quite at the same level that we saw when we were trying to suppress the virus during the pandemic, but something approaching that. So that's why I think that we're beginning to see messaging from government along the lines that we saw last night, and we should expect to see them doubling down on that and expect to see also a commensurate commitment come budget time.